We had a great bye week, I think. I think all of us got a chance to do what a bye week is for, which is to kind of recharge and come back really fresh, ready to go for this one against Dallas. And it's a big game, great opportunity for us at home against a good football team. So a great chance for us, and looking forward to it. So take any questions you have.
Are you a big Halloween guy?
You know what? After having kids, trick-or-treating is just tremendous. I mean, to walk down the street with them, they got their costume on, they knock on the door. I mean, to see their eyes. It's a little bit like Christmas morning with just watching the excitement and the magic of it. But last year we were going to Green Bay on Halloween, didn't get to trick-or-treat with them. This year we got the game, won't get to trick-or-treat with them. So I'm 0 for 2 the last 2 years. So I'll hope next year I get to trick-or-treat with them. But, that's really the fun for me is my kids.
Kirk, since you kind of touched upon it, I mean, how big of a measuring stick is this game for you guys on Sunday? I mean, you're 3-3. People are wondering if you're an upper echelon team or not. Now you can maybe show it on national TV.
Every game is a measuring stick, and at the end of the year, they're going to add them up and see where we are. But there's no doubt this is a tremendous opportunity, and it's big because it's the next one. And every one is a measuring stick, and this is no different. Where is the Titanic Museum?
Good eyesight. That's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Okay, that's. I'm road tripping at the end of the season, probably down south. I may have to stop.
In Belfast, and so is our man Sam
Is
Ekstrom
that
over
better?
there. Yeah, that's where it was actually built.
So the one in Tennessee is sort of the B team to the one in Belfast?
Yeah, it'd be the JV museum, but it was still pretty good.
Okay, all right. I'll add it to the list. There's a Noah's Ark Museum in Kentucky I want to hit too, so maybe I can.
I'll add that to my list.
There you go. All right.
Kirk, Zim had said before the bye, coming out of the bye, one of the big focal points was offensive penalties. And I'm just wondering from your perspective of seeing what your offensive line's doing in games to translate to practice, what does that look like as far as trying to make sure you're not holding, keeping your hands within the framework, all of that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be the world's expert on it, but I do think that, hand placement and fundamentals and being able to train habits so that in the moment your instincts take over and your instincts send you in the right direction as opposed to the wrong direction. And I would think that the longer you play and play real live snaps with refs and that close eye, I think it'll help. And, I know we're all kind of working hard to make sure that we avoid the penalties. That's another big piece of the bye week is being able to kind of course correct. Gives you a chance to self-scout and talk about things that are really causing you to win games and causing you to lose games and then make sure you course correct.
With that high percentage of 3 and outs, when you did your self-scout at the bye week, was there a common theme that was coming up there?
I think it was a variety of issues. It wasn't a common theme. I do think that we've had, we can have more productive runs. We've had some unproductive runs where we're not getting enough out of them. I think that there's some quick game we can get more out of in 3-step game. I do think our bootlegs can be better. So it's a variety of pieces that when you look at previous years, we can improve from what we did previous years was better than what we're doing right now. We can improve in those areas, and if you do, you'd like to think we'll be able to fix some of those issues.
You coach Darisaw at all when he comes in like this, or do you just leave that to the offensive line coach? How do you try to build a relationship with a position that critical?
I think it's important to just be supportive. Football's such a team game, and you just want to be there. You don't want guys to ever feel like they're playing this game by themselves. And so you just want him to know you got his back, the left guard's got his back, and he's got our back, and knowing we're all in this together. It's 11 guys out there playing together. That's really what you want him to feel, not just hear from you, but feel it. And he is such a calm presence, such a chill personality that, during the Carolina game, I didn't even know he was out there. He's just kind of there, but he's quiet. He's not saying much. He's just doing his job and not making it about him. And it was funny because the first person I saw after we scored was him. And I realized, oh, yeah, he's out here. Like, I hadn't even noticed him all day, which in a way is a good thing, right? Because he's just doing his job, doing a great job. And but he's such a calm personality, so it's kind of fun.
Is that kind of rare when you have a rookie who missed the entire preseason program to step in that quickly and not have, when you say you don't really know he's out there, is that rare from your experience?
Well, it's just difficult to play early in this league and play at a high level. There's a lot to learn, and there always will be, no matter how well you may play in a stretch. There's always going to be moments that you just realize you have more to learn, but I thought he did a great job.
The other angle of that is if you have a rookie there, normally it seems counterintuitive that you would have to be aware, okay, this guy's a rookie over there, but it sounds like that's a good problem to have if you're not worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. He was just so quiet in the huddle. He just doesn't say much during TV timeouts. And I'm standing literally right next to him when I call the play. But I even went over to Brian O'Neill and Garrett and Ole, guys who I'm going to hear more from throughout the game. And I said, does he say much on the bench when you guys are sitting over there? They said, no, not really. He's just kind of there. And so it's his personality. He's just being himself,
Kirk, obviously you're not on the field at the same time as Dak Prescott, but do you enjoy the challenge when you have an upper echelon quarterback kind of on the other side and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you just have to play the game that you get into, and you never know if it's going to be a game where you're trying to control the clock, run the football, if it's a game where you've got to open it up and throw the ball a bunch. So you just kind of play the game that's called and react, knowing that it can change throughout a game.
When you're going against the number one offense in the NFL, does that put a premium on, hey, we can't settle for field goals, things of that nature, because it potentially could be a scoring fest?
I think you have to be aware of the team you're playing, which includes the offense and the special teams, and just be aware of the whole picture. And much of that is coaching decisions as opposed to me as the player.
You talked in the past about the ability of a quarterback to not get sacked over a number of years, and how that sometimes is a quarterback's stat or quarterbacks have a role in it. I guess with that in mind, have you done some things this year to help the sack numbers drop, or why do you think those numbers have dropped as much as they have?
I think from a play calling standpoint, we're not trying to put ourselves in a position where we're taking sacks, and I think that's probably the biggest thing. But from game to game, play to play, it'll change. But we're aware of trying to avoid them, and it really takes a whole group. I've been in situations where many times you look and you say there's nothing I could do but take the sack, and so you have to kind of coach each situation on its own, and then you have to course correct like on a bye week and say, hey, do we need to be better in this area or whatever, but it'll always be something I'm kind of aware of and sensitive to.
Is there any trend to all these interceptions by Diggs?
I just think he's got great ball skills, and ultimately it's to have interceptions, you do have to catch the ball. You have to be a receiver in a way, and I think he has that ability, and that enables him to finish these plays as opposed to just have them be a breakup. They're an interception because of the way he can make the catch.
I think in that Patriots game, it might have been back-to-back plays where he has to pick six and then he gives up the touchdown. Is he the guy that you avoid because of the interceptions, or do you go after him because he can give up he does gamble?
Well, I think there's respect for him. I think you can't deny what he's accomplished, and he's a great player. I remember going back to his days at Alabama with Stefon being here. I talked with Stefon about his brother, and knew he was a great player and going to be a player in the league, and so there's respect for him, and you always understand that going into a game.
Does the way he attacks the football kind of remind you of Stefon going up for contested catches?
Yeah, they both have great hands, and that was one of the traits about Stefon that I thought was so impressive, was the way he just would have aggressive natural hands at the football and make some really tough catches and adjust to the football really well.
Kirk, you see on that, ESPN2 is doing this thing with the Mannings, and they're analyzing the game, and you really realize how quarterbacks go about their business. Can you study too much at your position? Can you ever get information overload? Because I think some of us are surprised at how much the quarterback knows about the opposition.
I think at this point in my career, I'm not too worried about that. It's maybe when I was younger trying to find that balance, but I know what I need to know for games. I know what I don't need to know for games. I know what is too much, what's too little, and what actually can help me in the moment. And so I have my rhythm, my routine, and that was what was such a big part of me as a younger player, figuring that out through trial and error of what works. And once I found it, I'd say year 4, I started to find it. Year 5, dialed it in. I've just stuck to it, made some tweaks here and there. When we get new voices in the quarterback room, they'll help me kind of add to it or take away from it, whatever it may be to make it better. But I really trust my process and my routine to get ready for games at this point and just lock it in and don't really think too much about what I'm, over or under what I need to know. It's just kind of stick to it and trust it and go play.
What are your kids going to be for Halloween?
It's a great question. I think Turner's going to be Mickey, and I think Cooper is going to be a dinosaur. He kind of got into the dinosaur kick.